That was quite exciting to hear all these different perspectives and visions and hopes, I guess, for this new space and what it can afford. We hope to hear a little bit more about that vision from Dr. Khaled.
Hello, everyone. I will give a quick overview on where we are in the project, just to align those who have still not accessed all the information about where we are in the project and type of the buildings that we are talking about, other than the tri-lab, the dorms, and the student housing, and the hub for extended education. We have created a Campus 2026 webpage portal for all the information that will be posted on this. Through the Campus 2026, you will find lots of all the updates as we move on forward with our timeline. If we scroll down, you can, and I'm starting with the timeline before I speak about the project itself, because this is a major milestone ever since the campus we moved from Tahrir up to New Cairo. This is the first time we'll undergo major construction in the undeveloped part of the campus, which was actually held for our strategic growth. Upcoming milestone for us to expand our programs and bridge into the future with our key priorities and of transformation. There has been transformative projects that were identified previously in the campus, in the president briefing and the provost briefing on campus, that highlight the AUC's contribution in the future and why these important projects are taking place, and their contribution to Egypt, their contribution to knowledge and catching up with the actually science and trends like AI, data science, applied research, training professionals, next generation of student living and housing, all of which are shape our key projects, the 3 key projects that we have and we're about to endeavor in. That's pretty much our timeline for our move here in New Cairo in 1997, when we first purchased the land. It was a desert. Actually, we were first developers here. And AUC's presence in New Cairo have actually what transpired and is a major contributor to what New Cairo is today. 2003, we started construction. 2008 was our first day of classes. And then we had a gap. That's the gap for our typical agenda for to know where we are, to direct our compass towards what programs we will shape into the future. We started a master plan by BBB in 2020, and we had lots of meetings across campus that actually led into the vision that we have today and that we detailed it. 2022, we were clearing out land issues that we had, and successfully we were able to overcome major problems in this land issues, and we had a ministerial decree in 2023, June 2023. We spent the balance of 2023. That's our design and planning year for the buildings. 2024 is what we will wrap up design and first shovel in the ground in summer of 2026 and in 2024, and we anticipate substantial completion of the projects in August 2026. First day of opening will be 2027. So if I can scroll down a bit more. Now, this map shows the existing part of the campus and 3 key projects. Of course, we have a full master plan that details a number of other opportunities for development in the future, for the future of AUC. However, we identified the 3 key projects as the projects of the future that will transform education and knowledge at AUC and contribute to Egypt. That's the most important. The next generation student and living and learning spaces, and we had a campus conversation dedicated on this a few days ago. And the extended education hub, which will train our professionals and which will combine all of our program and all of our professional programs that we offer through a number of schools under one hub, situated at the upper east corner of AUC, directly in proximity with mass transit and with the monorail that we anticipate opening sometime in 2024. Now we're with the technology research and innovation, which is, as you've seen from the video, it's a new idea, actually. We're not replicating this AUC's kind of prototype, building prototype for innovation. And as the provost mentioned, and in our sessions, ecosystem for innovation, and which means we are bringing our ingredients that we have already on campus from technology transfer, from innovation hub, engineering, business, policy, arts, all in one. It's a university building. And it encompasses, it's the platform where we bring academia to the industry, join hands, turn research projects into reality. It's where we have graduates that can have actual jobs on campus, and they can toggle between having classes and in the same time working for professional companies or incubators and startups that will take place in the Technology and Research and Innovation Lab. As Dr. Izzeddin Yazid spoke, we need space. We need space for large-scale samples to build large ideas, destroy them, and work on them and test them. That's the only way that we can actually have products out in the market that works. We already started with that. We have two large-scale double bay labs in SSE. However, with this facility where we get closer to the companies, where we work with robotic arm engineering alongside by side with AI and with data science, this is it. This is the future that we are situated for. Again, cooking all the ingredients, allowing a university platform for everyone who is part of the community of AUC to participate in the TriLab and have a role. We envision, for example, that graduation projects for students will be more of multidisciplinary instead of being mono or single science. It will encompass, so for example, we're going to have a team that could have engineers next to marketing, next to policymakers. All are working on one idea that actually could be practical and can actually be deployed to the market. So that's in a nutshell on this, and I turn it to Dean Lotfi to also comment on the future of the TriLab. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Khalid. As Dr. Khalid said, I think we have all the ingredients to support entrepreneurship and innovation. What we need is actually to integrate them. We have these ingredients. Some are well established and fully functional. Some have been established recently. Some capabilities need to be upgraded. So putting them in one place and availing more space for some of these entities, I think, will be a boost to the ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship at AUC. Also, it will allow us to have better interaction with industry, allow our students to have a larger exposure to the various available facilities. From the School of Business, we have the well-established units of the Venture Lab. I think it was established in 2013, so more than 10 years. And the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, I think 2015. We recently established 2 centers at SSE, which are aiming to serve the entire university, the Virtual Reality Lab and the Learning Factory. And both of them allow entrepreneurs to visualize various ideas, put them into visual models, and then realize them as prototypes and so forth. We have a couple of robotic facilities. Actually, most of our robots are the industrial robot type. When Future actually talks, there is actually a study, a book called Industries of the Future that lists robotics as #1 industry in the future, but it's not the industrial robot. It's robots that are on the humanoid side. And the trick is not really to program robots and get robots to do independent tasks, but actually to get people to work alongside robots. So having a facility that allows us to integrate all these resources together, I think should be helpful again in creating the right environment. Part of this place, again, as Dr. Aiz talked to and Dr. Khalid, the build space. We actually recently had a solar house that was part of a competition There was a regional competition that was supposed to be held in UAE, but got hampered by the COVID. It's actually the house is sitting in the desert. It satisfies the condition that Dr. Khalil is talking about. You can build it, you can reconfigure it, you can demolish it, and all along perform different studies. It will support part of the activities of the newly envisioned School of Design, Architecture, and Urban Studies. So all in all, I think this is going to be a great facility to allow us to bring all these capabilities together to support, again, this environment for entrepreneurship and innovation and industrial interactions.
Thank you very much, Dean Gafar, for sharing with us your vision, and Dr. Khalid as well for giving the understanding on the logistical piece as well as the university vision for that. And now we'll hear from Hala, the vision maybe on the innovation and entrepreneurial side of the project.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all thank you, Dr. Gafar. I think we all shed light on what's already existing and how can the TriLab bring on together the existing stakeholders and players within the university to collaborate under the umbrella of the Envision TriLab. What I'm going to talk about is that how I envision the TriLab and how the TriLab would be something that students would really want to visit that new facility. For me, when I think about TriLab, I think about like igniting, designing, and executing. So igniting this space should offer services and activities for students where they can really challenge the status quo of their perception about the future careers, the challenges in the economy and society, and like provide them with that safe space where they can really think creatively and about these challenges in our community and beyond. The other thing is that we should have like this design space. It's like a sandbox where all the labs come in, so the students feel safe about trying, testing, failing, iterating, and repeating this. So through rapid prototyping, testing, simulation, trying with their hands different things, and students here can collaborate from different disciplines actually, not to shy out from this big mechanical labs, but like encourage different discipline students actually to go into labs and see what robotics labs do, and so on and so forth. The other part is execution, and execution is very important because students are still, they need to understand more how the industry and the real world work, and what are the challenges of the industry. So like have hands-on experience where we bring in industry onto that space, bring in NGOs that work with challenges in the society in different parts of our community to come in and like engage and talk with students, be it industry innovation, be it startup innovation, and like patents and IPs, go-to-market strategy, feasibility of my idea actually to be implemented on ground. So that's how I envision the journey of students inside the TriLab. And I think this is very much needed. As I said in the short video, this place should be inclusive of students from all disciplines. So not only business students go to the business school and engineering students go to the engineering school. Students from humanities can come into the TriLab and try things that they want to do. And it will be like an inclusive and welcoming space. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Kayla, for sharing this vision. I think what we've been hearing basically about the TriLab is that it's really a new, innovative space, a different space, a space that involves a lot more than just moving labs from some locations to put them together, but it's really rethinking the process itself and how learning, teaching, and research can take place. And with that, I think we move to the fun bit where you get to use your smartphones to interact with us a little bit. And I think on the first question, if I remember correctly, we want to know your vision, how you envision that TriLab. We just heard 3 visions from our panelists, and we would be interested to know if you have additions or further layers that you would like to add to this vision, actually. On Sunday, in our first talk, the audience was very active to the point that they were answering future questions. So I hope we see the same level of engagement. Sorry about that. Okay. 32 participants already, and answers are coming in. Yes, for those who are maybe facing some trouble to scan the code or the QR code, you can use the number code onto the Mentimeter website directly, and it would link you to the same session. Okay, I think some answers are coming in now, and we have a broader perspective. I can actually look here. I don't need to give you my back, so thanks for that setup. Well, smart, welcoming, experimental, futuristic, I would say. Technology, AI tools, smart and welcoming, accessible, sustainable. Okay, I think anyone from the audience wants to maybe share with us a little bit more what they mean with some of these answers, or if some of these answers kind of resonate with them in a specific way? We have
Thank you. So my name is Mohab Anis. I'm a professor at the School of Science and Engineering, and worked a little bit in the area of innovation for the past maybe 15 years at the national and institutional levels. So I'm very happy with this initiative, actually, and maybe one thing, I'm the one who put the Open Innovation Platform, which I see it as a platform where everyone gets engaged with from within the AOC and outside of the AOC. One thing that I actually like a lot, since you talked about AOC Venture Lab, which was a very, very good and very, very successful initiative, but it's really important to try to capitalize on the intellectual assets of the AOC, as opposed to only relying on innovations coming from outside of the AOC. And that was the case for AOC Venture Lab for the past while, where the kind of innovations there were business model related in nature. But if we start looking at the intellectual assets of the university, the research, the technologies, the graduation projects, there's a lot of intellectual assets that we can create from this, and this can be kind of like the platform for launching a lot of these assets to the outside world. Okay, that's.
Thank you for this. Of course.
Part of actually of the discussions of the TriLab is actually, Dr. Mahab, to include an area where student activities can be demonstrated. And actually, there were discussions about locating it where students will see it, in their, while walking through the campus. So this will be an area for both competitions, student competitions, which there are several initiatives at the Provost Office to increase them on campus, plus the senior projects for the various disciplines, which again, there is another initiative to make them interdisciplinary graduation projects. So that should, address this point.
Thank you, Dr. Lutfi, for clarifying this. Actually, on this note, I mean, I think I picked it up somewhere maybe on this. I wanted to maybe ask both our panelists and the audience on what they think about the integration of industry and how that can help in the innovation process. Any takers for? Yeah, there we go.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. My name is Dalia Abdallah. I'm a Senior Director of Innovation, AUC Innovation Hub. this may be the latest, one of the latest initiative that you see, and we're very proud actually to say that this is the closest that we are offering working with industry. And thank you for raising this, because that's exactly the point I want to raise. I can see, of course, on the panel that the AUC VLab and Innovation Hub are not present, but it's an important integrated role of TriLab. And exactly the point that you mentioned, that we need to be making sure that we're not very far from industry. Maybe Helle also mentioned this, but industry, when you talk with the industry, they live in from an entirely different world. They come from a different, narrative is entirely different. And we need to make sure that as I mentioned also in the video, that we are talking about evolution and not we're just repeating or building up on existing, but actually evolving. And a big part of evolving is to make sure that this is what the industry needs. And to also to have another perspective of not only addressing Egypt, but being in the region as well, because the global value chain is very much being integrated. So that's exactly what I want to say, getting closer to the industry. It's not an easy at all, but involving them in the process would be very much important at a certain level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this. And I think we've heard a little bit on not only trying to cater to the industry, but in many cases even setting the trend of where the industry can go. Maybe Dr. Lutfi, you wanted to add something?
A quick comment. When establishing the Learning Factory, the objective was actually to engage industry. So when we talk about competitions and student projects, we want them ultimately, at least part of them, to be industry sponsored. And actually, we modeled our factory after the one at Penn State, which has been established 25 years ago. But that facility has actually an annual event where they demo 250 student projects in the stadium. And all of them are industry sponsored. So hopefully we'll do something, maybe not at that scale, but the TriLab is going to be one step towards that part.
Thank you, Dr. Lutfi. Hopefully on a bigger scale, I hope. Any other comments from our panelists regarding that industry point, maybe?
If I may add, industry innovation and corporate innovation is for sure, it's always needed, it's always evolving. I believe the TriLab should be a space where industry are welcome to come, talk about the challenges they face, how to innovate, not only in their products, but on their processes and their service. And students take this as part of their actual research work, not ignite research just from academia and books, but they really need to listen to industry and to ignite their ideas on research actually from hands-on people in the industry that they face. But I think the open innovation and the corporate innovation in the industry, they all fall under the same umbrella of we have an open innovation platform where industry can just fill in this platform with their challenges about innovating in their products, services, processes, and bring in students actually to work together to solve that challenges of the industry. The point also is that building teams, this space should teach students that it's not only about the idea and funding the idea, but there are a lot of other resources that's needed. And I think this would be a role of the TriLab, availing other resources like human resources, patents and IPs, managing the operations of their ideas. All this should be provided in the envisioned TriLab.
Thank you, Helle. Sorry, I keep moving, but I'm trying to balance on the questions. So maybe we'll hear from Dr. Hanadi.
Thank you very much. It's a very interesting, and I think it's a very important step forward for AUC to have a TriLab. And I see this as an important addition which will face a challenge which will address a problem where there is no integration between industry and academia. And I think that to really feel the success of this this trial or the TriLab. After, I'm sure that there were lots of trials made by other universities locally, and I don't think they were successful enough. I think we should set our goal is to strengthen this tie with the industry. So having innovations that are industry-driven or academia-driven should be accepted, should be part of the initiative that we're putting on the table here. And we definitely need to have this impact on industry and to involve many of our intellectuals who are already having a lot of consultation and efforts done with industry that is made outside AUC. We need to bring those in to do their consultations and industrial collaborations within AUC. And I think this will, with this expertise, we're going to have a very successful model. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hanadi. We have another comment. Thank you.
Hello, salam alaikum. My name is Ahmed Noor. I'm the technical manager of the Science and Technology Research Center in the SSE. Actually, in the SSE, we have the Process and Product Development Unit. It deals with startups, and its main role is to take the projects from the lab scale to, it upscales the project, so to pilot scale, right? Now with what's been said, I think it's great and fantastic because it will take it one further step. And I think this point is missing in Egypt. Now we are making it happening. It's in other universities, been applied in other universities in the region, to my knowledge, but now I think we will be the first to do this in Egypt. The product of this will be a student who is already integrated with the market and with the industry, and he knows what he is going to do or she is going to do when they get graduated, right? However, there are a couple of challenges that we know, but because we already have two startups, right, working with us in the PPDU. So we know of some challenges that they face. Inshallah, with this progress, we will share our vision. Basically, we know the components of such units that the startups or the new companies need. All of our startups, they come from a science or engineering background because labs, they seek labs, right? So they are scientists or engineers, right? So we know the components that they need. There are things that we will have to have in place. For example, some of the components, we will have to keep supplying the startups with equipment, and so on. So I think it will need a kind of running fund. I think so. Yeah, that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I think it's quite interesting as we envision, in many cases, the spaces that would allow such interaction. I think it's very also good to go into thinking about the operation and how to actually maintain that level of activity and innovation and research ongoing. So thanks for adding this. I think we will move to our next question. And this time, we want to know more how you, as our audience and the AUC community, see yourself integrated in that new space. Is it a different code for? No, it's the same code. So actually, if you scroll into the app, you can see the next questions and continue to contribute. Oh, wow, 40 already? Okay, so competitions, cool. Okay, so active participation and work. Perfectly integrated. Okay. Capacity building, advisory service, spectator. Well, okay. That's fair. It's always very interesting seeing all the responses come in. I hope it's as interesting on your side as well. Well, it's much bigger, so yes. Cool. Well, as you're seeing these answers come in, well, both Dr. Khalid and Dr. Gafar are smiling, so I'm hoping that there is something that triggered there.
Yes, absolutely. It's, if I may follow up, it's on the previous discussions that actually the building is, while it carries an innovative idea, we're trying to design it in a very simple kind of structure and approach to make it permeable and porous for our community. So many students sometimes that are not affiliated, for example, with engineering or with another discipline, they don't really know what happens behind these in these buildings, and that's something that might be considered a barrier. So design here will actually, the design of the building itself is actually intended to be simple enough to allow for this porous penetration of the community to look at the showcasing of innovation, look at the projects that are actually born, maybe in the making, maybe being put together, watch, and students learn a lot by observation. We use our campus as a living and learning lab, and we've always used it. I mean, speak for architecture and construction. We really look out for our campus. It's well designed, very well designed compared to other buildings that we actually use it as our open lab. So the idea of the tri-lab is a continuation of this, and it will allow students to actually explore. And that's extremely important, that you see things being put together and it doesn't remain buried in your back end of your mind. And if you have a platform that allows ideas to actually be implemented, no matter what small the ideas are, just knowing that AUC are pioneering with having that building prototype will allow students, most importantly, to think in a different way from now on. Of course, it will allow our faculty and graduate students to think beyond publishing research, think into more of, and that's what research is about actually, about making products or outputs that actually can serve and can be practical enough to be deployed and to be applied and to be consumed by the society. So that's our business, that's what we are doing. And I'm just on one final note, if you want to get closer to maybe the philosophy of architecture of that building, we have a talk by the designer on the 15th. It will be in Alfie. Legoretta Architects, who are going to be the architects for the building, and it will be in Alfie. We will announce it with AUC News, but it will be a chance maybe to come closer to those who are actually thinking of putting it together, understand some of the philosophies and their approach towards design and specifically on the building.
Thank you, Dr. Khalid, for this. I think... Go for it.
The build a map that links AUC internal intellectual assets with market needs. I think mapping the intellectual assets at AUC and this to be visible to the market outside is very, very important. It's very important. An entry point of the market, whether coming from industry, services, into AUC and capitalize about the assets that are in AUC, whether like professors, students, facilities, all this still not seen. I hope the Tri-Lab would be the entry point actually of the industry with they can see like the mapping of the intellectual assets at AUC.
Thanks for this. Dr. Gafar?
Yeah, actually looking at the list and one has to agree with all of it almost. So one of the keywords in addition to the accessibility of the building and the simplicity that Dr. Khalid talked about is flexibility. And in talking to the architects, this word came repeatedly. The spaces, some of the spaces at least, need to be flexible and reconfigurable so you can actually maximize the utilization of the space.
Thank you, Dr. Ghaffar. I think, I mean, just to add on this as well, and I'm looking at the points, I think a lot of interest as well is there for us to see what's happening at AUC. A lot of maybe our communities seeing that there isn't enough visibility for that. And for those of us who had the chance maybe to go to COP, we had a little bit of a glimpse of what's happening behind of all these labs at AUC. And I think all of us were very proud of that. I think we have a comment in the back. Yes.
Thanks. Hi. Thank you, Sharif. One of the points up here, research commercialization, brought to mind a point that I think we just haven't hit on yet today, which is also the integration of the technology transfer office into the TriLab. I mean, we talked about all of the other units that are going to have a presence there. And for me, as a relative outsider to this type of work, understanding the role of the TTO and helping bring that innovation to the market in a commercial way and having it be a presence in the lab, I think many faculty who do research that can be patented are aware of the services. Students who are involved in this research probably are not and don't understand that it's not only helping industry provide, by helping to provide solutions, but also, in a sense, industrializing the research itself. And I think that's a really important kind of link within this ecosystem.
And I think some of the comments there are related to this in terms of the need for mentoring spaces or spaces for really taking people by the hand and helping them look into these opportunities for commercialization and integration with industry. I think with that we can move to our next question. So we want to know what is one thing that you would like to see in that space that doesn't exist now on campus. And maybe to help out our architects and so it could, maybe we can think of more physical spaces or instead of others. Again, if you have other ideas other than physical spaces or elements or characters, you can also add them, of course. Very active audience, 41 participants in our Mentimeter, I think. So one of those word clouds, these are also fun. No? Some of them will start to get bigger as people vote on them more. As the answers are coming in, we have a question from... Please. No, I think they passed.
Thank you very much. Hello. So my name is Tarek Matkour. I'm professor in chemistry. And I have a project in collaborating with business schools, so from economics and finance, also with the biology department in our school. And we are thinking of developing a system and to put it out there as a spin-off. So my question to the panel, please, how can you help us? We hope within a year we will reach the system. System will be ready for implementation. So we have the finance and economics expert, and we have the biology and the chemistry experts. How would the TriLab help us in this way, especially in making a spin-off and rolling it into the market? Thank you.
Thanks for this. Maybe
we cannot help because we're talking about 2026, but I'm sure Hoda can help you. You wanted the help within a year, so Hoda's going to take care of you.
When the TriLab is built and ready to go?
You said you wanted it in a year. No, it's much more.
So that's our problem.
No. We'd love to hear. يعني, in the center, actually, we made the introduction to the SSE with the IMC. We had a visit from the IMC because they want some of their companies like to come and test and use the labs. Actually, at the center now, we work closely under some of our funded projects with IMC, the MISMEDA, all these entities. We have connections. So please, yani, we'll exchange. I'll take your number and see how we can help you in this.
My question was for the spin-off. And my question was really, I want to understand more about the TriLab in 2-3 years from now. What would it support people coming up with a product, like Dr. Khalid was talking, product to the market, and how they can support, roll it into a company?
Okay. For example, yani, if yani, I talked at the beginning that we'll have how that we envision if you pass through the Ignite and the design. So you have a design and you want to commercialize it and go to market. We'll have like industry experts. We'll have like professional mentors to look into that product or prototype and like give you like real actual feedback from the market, how to commercialize it, how to patent it, of course, before you go out. And then from this feedback, students or the teams can go like maybe reiterate their design, their product, hearing feedback from the industry or the market. They can look into patenting it before introducing into the market. They can maybe change the whole product completely because what they are coming with is not actually needed in the market. It's a very nice product, but it's not a go-to-market product or service. It's not needed. They have to learn how to rethink and reiterate and fail in order to have a product that is needed and sellable and scalable in the market. Because it's not only that I'll have product and launch it now, but I can scale the idea further when I'm actually offering it to the market. Through industry expert, consultant, mentoring, the idea of the BDSs, business development service centers, to provide services to that idea to be like commercialized and have a go-to-market strategy.
Actually, if we move to the next question, maybe you can tell us how the TriLab can help you. So,
few questions you have to go through.
See? Not really, actually. The question here is really asking you, how do you want the TriLab to help you in that process? So it would be really good to hear. We heard one set of answers. So maybe if something is missing, you can tell us through the question. And I think for everyone as well around the room, maybe we can hear. Again, each of us have their own research or their own activities, either in teaching, learning, research, or even service. And we'd really want to know how, in terms of space, but also in terms of function, in terms of operation, this TriLab can be of help. Yeah, sure, as answers are coming in.
Very quick comment. The part about the building of this map, that was the comment that I put actually in. This is very important to do this proper mapping of the intellectual assets inside the AUC. I don't think we have this map right. This should drive the kind of strategy and the focus area of that TriLab. It's very important to have that.
Thanks for the comment.
I just have one question, which might not respond to this posted one. Are we planning, it could not, the answer to this question might not be ready now, but are we planning to accept giving piece of a space to an industry to carry out its R&D with the support of AUC faculty and students? Or this is something that is totally out of the question? So I'm just asking this question because, again, it will trigger, it triggers our plans for the space.
Thank you so much, Doctor, and thank you so much for raising this because actually, again, as I raised earlier, Unfortunately, Innovation Hub is not represented on the panel, but that's exactly the latest initiative that AUC is doing. That's the space. We are offering state-of-the-art space, and everyone, of course, is more than welcome to visit us. We're having the inauguration soon, where we actually, that's exactly the part where we allow the industry to have the symbolic and actual access to space on campus, where they can have direct accessibility to research students, R&D, and faculty. We tend to focus on futuristic industries, including, of course, sustainability, AI, big data, and inclusion, financial inclusion. So basically, we're trying to address that specific answer. And thank you for raising this. And of course, you're more than welcome to join us, of course, in Innovation Hub. Thank you very much.
And hopefully these activities will be scaled up in the TriLab.
Of course. And that's I want to clarify. It's again the complementarity of different initiatives under the TriLab. It's not, we're not competing against each other. It's actually the complementarity and the horizontal approach that we're adopting.
Perfect, that's great. And I think looking at these answers here, I think we have a lot of ideas of what the TriLab can do. Well, financing is a big piece that came up. Support in terms of availability of the communication with the industry. Any comments on this from our panelists?
No, I think the comment from Dr. Hanedi was spot on the objective, and that's a continuation of a success story here on AUC, honestly. That's where we see AUC pioneer with new ideas all the time. That's a major, if I may say, contribution into allowing on our own campus industry to come over. I'm unaware of other models of this, even regionally, that exist. In the US and in Europe, maybe there are, of course, we're inspired by R&D models of such that are independent and actually they're sustainable with their, not environmental in terms of financing actually, but that may be actually introducing that prototype into how research will take its role in the future, and it's not just funding research for us to spend, it's actually coming over to us and allowing the campus to actually generate the ideas with actually the industry in place, hand-in-hand partnerships. We already are, I'm sure that everyone knows, and we know that approach by many in the industry every year. There are plenty of MOUs. Everyone is anxious to tap on and partner with AUC. And this actually allows us a good platform, a one destination, all in one place, again, facilitating the dispersed components that we have right now all over on campus into one place. And with, I hope, a flexible facility and visually enough that it allows morphs with our needs as we move forward, we'll be able to achieve that goal. Thank you.
Fine. Yes. So we'll hear our last comment as we move to our final question, which it's not a question related to the TriLab per se. It's a question on how you want to continue to engage with us. The last question?
I have one last question. Can I ask it?
Yes, as people are responding to this, we can hear your question.
So I can see a lot of the comments about the funding and 0% loans and so on. So my question to you is, do you have a model for funding this project that is in place, or are you working on it? How are you coming up with these different funding opportunities for the industry to be part of, or the donors or whatever? Thank you.
I always believe that funding is very important and crucial, but it's not impossible. Okay, funding is not impossible. If you have the right approach, if you have what really is needed in the market, sources of funding is always available. There are other resources that are as important as funding. Actually, when you come up with a project team or research or something, the team and the human capital that is investing in that research or that project is very important. The facilities that is available to test and try and fail, and giving that time to try and fail in order to reach your final product or service is very important as well.
So I don't have an answer for the model for funding because I know it's, as the president said, it's multiple model. But I just want to take you through the journey to where we are today and why are we here today. Early 2000, late 90s, EUC started to invest heavily in research, and we became more of a research university since then, and we have been till now investing in research on different levels. So that's step number one. Step number two, 2010, we thought of how to protect the intellectual property that comes out of from EUC, so we established the Technology Transfer Office at EUC. 2013, we came up with the idea, well, can we transform some of our ideas to businesses, and can we help those startups to establish their business, hence the VLab. 2015, we wanted to support our students with more of the entrepreneurial mindset. So we established the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center at EUC. 2019, 2020, we also thought of how can we take the lab scale invention that happens at EUC to the prototype scale, so we established the process and the product development lab. In 2023, we wanted to have industry with the broad range of definition of industry that can be an NGO, that can be a factory, that can be a deep tech company, that can be a governmental office. On campus to facilitate bringing to our classrooms the real world problems, so we can help in solving them and learn from solving them too. So hence we came up with the Innovation Hub. We have all those activities on campus and more. However, they're not talking to each other. However, they are not synchronizing all of their effort with each other. Then what do we need? That space that will provide that crosstalk between them and easy access for everyone to all of those activities at EUC, so hopefully we can have the open platform for innovation. We can facilitate for our students more of thinking about creating jobs, not looking for jobs. So that's the whole idea behind the Innovation Hub. I look at it as the integral space on campus for everything that we can think of. That's why the word flexibility that Dr. Ghaffar talked about is very important in the design. So I just wanted to summarize all what you have said today, and also walk you through the journey that EUC has been doing over the last couple of decades. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost, for ending this on a very high note, actually in this integrative view of what this space, the TriLab, can offer to the university. So thanks for this. And with that, we know that our audience is interested to be involved in the design and brainstorming session. And campus conversations seem to have scored quite low this time as opposed to last time. I hope this doesn't have to do with my performance. But that being said, we thank you very much for your time, and we apologize again if we took a few minutes extra of your day. We greatly appreciate it.